So Brett Kavanaugh's week continues to get worse. It's now being reported that a third woman has come forward to accuse Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh of some pretty terrible behavior during high school. Now, this woman is named Julie Swetnick. Now, she released a sworn declaration that says that she had attended well over 10 house parties with Brett Kavanaugh and his friend Mark Judge. Now, Mark Judge, of course, is the one, is the friend that is sticking up for Kavanaugh and saying, oh, no, he didn't do anything. He was great. And in fact, he's not even getting a subpoena to testify. And he's refusing to testify. Like, nope, I'm not interested in testifying. In fact, I'm going to go hide on a beach somewhere. And, of course, where did they find him? On a beach. Interesting. Now, according to this woman, she had went to these parties, and she said, look, I witnessed Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh drink excessively and engage in highly inappropriate conduct, including being over-aggressive with girls and also not taking no for an answer. So, wow. Now, this conduct, she said, included the fondling of grabbing of girls without consent. Look, going back to that first accuser, she was saying, I was grabbed without consent. Second accuser, same thing, Deborah Ramirez. She said, he literally put his junk in my face without my consent. You know what that's known as? That's sexual assault. That fits a pattern. Christine Blasey Ford, of course, is the first accuser to have come out. She alleged attempted rape. Deborah Ramirez, of course, I just told you about that accusation. So, look, a lot of this goes back to what kind of person Kavanaugh is. Now, that, of course, contradicts wildly from the choir boy image that he had portrayed during a Fox News interview. Because, of course, where are you going to go? You're going to go to Fox News. But wait, I thought a judge is supposed to be nonpartisan. No, incredibly partisan. Now, Swetnick, of course, released her sworn statement through lawyer Michael Avenatti. Now, look, I got thoughts about Michael Avenatti. I think he's definitely a self-serving lawyer, bit of a sleazy guy, trying to run for president. Ridiculous, right? At the same time, this is a sworn affidavit. This is under penalty of perjury. So this is no joke. If she is found to be lying, which I don't believe that she is, then that will have significant legal penalties. You don't just do this lightly. Not only that, but this woman, she says she currently holds an active security clearance and works within the federal government. So, again, you're going to put your career on the line, which is what she's doing. Career on the line, name on the line, reputation on the line, security clearance on the line. All that stuff. So this is very, very high stakes for her to put out these accusations. Now, she also said Kavanaugh's recent claim on Fox News, going back to that interview, regarding his alleged innocence during his high school years and lack of sexual activity is, quote, absolutely false and a lie. Remember, he goes on Fox News and says, me, no, have sex in the high school. Virgin until college. I just couldn't. I mean, I was surrounded by all these drunk girls, and I was going to all these keggers, 100 kegs or bust, but never had sex with a girl. I mean, no, no, I only had like maybe a couple of beers here and there, but I was always a very good little angel. Bullshit. That's what she's saying. Bullshit. I mean, look, you just want to look at the yearbook, right? Again, there's the yearbook. There's even the there is even the piece of evidence that Kavanaugh himself had brought, saying, "No, look at my calendar. The first accuser, wrong. It wasn't even on the calendar. The party." Well, what's funny? This third accusation says, "Look, all this stuff happened during Beach Week. And the calendar just so happened to have mentioned Beach Week. Not looking good for him. Not looking good at all. Now there's more. Liz Swisher described herself as a friend of Mr. Kavanaugh in college, said she was shocked that he had strongly denied drinking to the point of blacking out. So this goes back to, of course, how prolifically he drank during high school, which again, I don't necessarily care about the drinking part, but the rest of it is really interesting. She said, Brett was a sloppy drunk, and I know because I drank with him. I watched him drink more than a lot of people. He'd end up slurring his words and stumbling. Another former classmate, James Roche, said Mr. Kavanaugh frequently drank to the point of incoherence. Quote, he hung out with the football players and soccer players, and they drank a lot and were bros. Now, Mr. Roche briefly shared a room with Mr. Kavanaugh during their freshman year, said in an interview earlier this month, and in a statement Tuesday after the Fox News interview, in which he apparently lied to the country. He said, oh, no, I barely drink at all. No, I'm a good boy. I hardly touch the stuff. Hardly touch that beer. No, Roche described Mr. Kavanaugh as, quote, a notably heavy drinker who became aggressive and belligerent when he was very drunk. No, so that's really important, right? Aggressive and belligerent. Back to Swetnick. She wrote, I witnessed Brett Kavanaugh consistently engage in excessive drinking and inappropriate contact of a sexual nature with women during the 1980s. Again, that doesn't match up with what he said on Fox News. Now, Lynn Brooks, there's another former classmate, was actually a college roommate of one of the women accusing Mr. Kavanaugh, said the nominee's comments on Fox did not match the classmate that she remembered. Quote, he's trying to paint himself as some sort of choir boy. Now, Ms. Brooks, of course, is a Republican and former pharma executive who had recalled an encounter with a drunken Mr. Kavanaugh at a fraternity event. You can't lie your way onto the Supreme Court. And with that statement out, he's gone too far. It's about the integrity of that institution. Now, this is a former classmate, was there, ran into him, no question. She's a Republican and a pharma executive. I'm just saying, those are the people that are speaking out against Kavanaugh, right? And look, here's the thing. Being a sloppy drunk is one thing, right? Again, I don't really care about that. I've gotten drunk before. I've also never raped anybody. I've also never sexually assaulted anybody. So there's a bit of a difference here, right? Now, the problem is what Kavanaugh is alleged to have done at these parties, and that's where the devil's in the details. And here are the details. Swetnick claims that Kavanaugh, and this is where it becomes disastrous. She claims that as a high school student in the early 80s, with others, ended up spiking the drinks of girls at house parties with grain alcohol or drugs to, quote, cause girls to lose inhibitions and their ability to say no. Gets worse. Swetnick said these efforts by Kavanaugh and his buddy, Mark Judge, were done so that the girls could then be gang raped in a side room or bedroom by a train of numerous boys. She even claimed that I had become a victim of one such rape where Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh were present. She said during the incident, I was incapacitated without my consent and unable to fight off the boys raping me. I believe I was drugged using Quaaludes or something similar placed into what I was drinking. Now, this story comes out one day, by the way, and this is sort of related, but not really related to Kavanaugh himself. But Bill Cosby had pretty much done the same thing. He would drug their drinks and then sexually assault them. That behavior was widespread, and of course Cosby had been doing that for years. And the last time he did it, he was at the tender age of 67. So I'm just saying, you do it once, a good chance you might do it again. But anyway, she said that she shared the story of her own alleged gang rape, which she says took place around 1982 with at least 2 other people shortly after it had occurred. So that story, of course, is absolutely horrifying. Now, there's more. If that's not bad enough, and again, it's bad. It's horrific. No, it's worse. She says that Kavanaugh and Judge targeted specific women. She said it was usually a girl that was especially vulnerable because she was alone at the party or shy. So not only were they doing this, right, but they were picking out women like, hey, I know she looks like a good mark. She looks like somebody I can take advantage of. That's it. Done. If this is true, gone. That's predatory behavior. This is somebody saying, this is somebody being a predator. This is somebody that says, no, you don't understand. It's worse than what everybody was talking about before. It's not just, he gets drunk and then he acts super inappropriately, right? That's not that anymore. Okay, that was the argument before. This new allegation says, no, this was a targeted behavior. This was predatory in nature. This is him picking people out in order to basically create rape trains. That is disastrous. And as I said before, this is an affidavit. This is signed under perjury, right? The penalty of perjury. It's not a random accusation. That is very, very serious. Again, she works for the government. She has put everything on the line in order to make this accusation. This is not something that is super, super light. Especially consider the very contentious nature and the fact that the first accuser has already gotten threats and have been chased out of her home. There have been numerous violent threats directed towards her and her family. For someone else to go and say, look, I've got a story, I shared my story, and now I'm going to share it with the world, you are literally putting yourself into the line of fire in some cases. So, I mean, man. Look, and here's the disturbing, like, this is old, incredibly disturbing. With this third person out, here you still have the Republicans saying, we're not going to budge. We're going to still hold this confirmation vote on Friday. They don't care. They don't care. If they don't delay the vote to allow for an investigation, then they're saying, we don't care at all about this. Sexual assault, these incredibly serious allegations, which now, again, okay, one accuser you can say, all right, look, this one accuser, this doesn't necessarily establish a pattern. We should look into it, but it is just one accuser. Now you have 3 accusers, which are all establishing the same kind of pattern. And they still want to go forward with this confirmation hearing. That's what they want to do. They're saying we care more about playing politics than people's lives. And look, here's the saddest thing. Republicans know that an investigation will take time, right? So that means that, here come the midterms. Those are coming up. We're expecting to lose in the midterms. We're not going to have enough time if we make Kavanaugh pull his his nomination. We make him bow out or whatever. We're not going to have enough time to appoint someone before the midterms. We're afraid we're going to lose those midterms. So what are we going to do? We have decided as a party to play politics. We have decided as a party to ram through Kavanaugh, even with these horrific accusations that are against him. That's who the Republican Party is. They are pushing this guy no matter what. When in reality, he could be an absolute monster. It is disgusting. It is purely political by the Republican Party. And, man, this guy gets on the Supreme Court with these allegations hanging over his head. For one, it's very, very difficult to impeach a sitting Supreme Court justice. For good reason, of course. But putting him in charge of really, really important decisions, especially considering women's health and reproductive rights and the rights of women, with this hanging over his head? No. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.